So this will be my review for Hail Caesar. Came out 2016, last year now. Again, trying to get a couple more movies in for Best of the Year 2016. This one was a bit of a disappointment when it came out to most people, critics and audiences, but I actually heard that it was on at least one or two people's, best of list for like podcasts and reviews that I listen to. So I wanted to give it a try. Plus, this is Joel and Ethan Coen's, the Coen brothers' latest movie, and they're some of the best directors, writers, that you can find. So pretty much everything they've done is, if not incredibly amazing, it's just really, really well done and really good. Their last movie was Inside Llewyn Davis, which I loved. That was a great movie. And so there's not any reason not to watch this, not to give it a chance. The only thing is it did get, kind of disappointing reviews and stuff from audiences when it first came out, but kind of understandable. With the Coen's work, it's so high up there. They have a lot you expect a lot when you see one of their movies, so you can kind of see why a mediocre film might get not great reviews from them. But anyways, that's kind of going into it. So this movie, it's set in the 50s, early 50s. It's set at a fictitious movie company. It's called Capitol Studios. They've used that fake studio before in Barton Fink. But basically the story follows Josh Brolin's character. He plays Eddie Mannix. And he's like they kind of call him, he's like a fixer at the studio. Just make sure everything's running smoothly. Any of the directors, actors, whoever, if they need something done, he'll get it. Make sure everything's running smoothly. And basically, it's his story, Josh Brolin's story alone. So what happens is, like, one of their biggest actors, Baird Whitlock, is played by George Clooney. He's shooting this big, epic blockbuster movie that they're shooting for the summer. It's called Hail Caesar, so that's where the title comes from. It's actually a movie that they're shooting, and he's shooting this movie, and when he goes to his trailer, he gets drugged and kidnapped. Ends up that he gets kidnapped by a group of communists, and then it kind of gets into the backstory of who all these people are, why they're kidnapping him, why they want the ransom. A lot of it has to do with spiteful writers and stuff like that. And then so while Eddie Mannix is trying to figure out where he is, he's dealing with other actors, producers, directors with their problems, and the whole time he's trying to figure out where Baird is. He's this big time movie star. So that's the basic plot line. Like I said, Josh Brolin is the main character. I think the trailer for this movie does a very poor job of representing the movie as a whole, actually. There's a ton of big name actors in here. Most of them are just doing cameos, though. They don't have very big roles, which is kind of disappointing. So it's Josh Brolin's character, and George Clooney, of course, has a pretty big part as Baird. He's the one that's being kidnapped. A new actor here, who I thought was probably the most interesting part of the movie. Probably give the funniest performance, and it was just really fun to watch every time he's on screen, is Alden Ehrenreich. He plays Hobie Doyle, and so in the movie he's like a Western actor. That's what he specializes in, and he's kind of like a Southern bumpkin guy, and they're trying to get him to maybe change his image and get him to be a bigger player in different movies. And one of his interactions is with director Lawrence. He's played by Ralph Fiennes, which is really funny. That's a really good scene. So I'll just kind of go through the other actors that make appearances. Scarlett Johansson is here. You can kind of tell she's like a really big actress at the time in the 50s. Her name's Deanna Moran, and she's dealing with like a pregnancy. She's not married. So that's just another little thing that basically all these other characters that come in are just other problems that Eddie Mannix has to deal with. Some of them interweave with Baird, but not a lot. There's a cool scene with Scarlett Johansson's character where she's doing like a synchronized swimming scene for a movie. It's pretty interesting. It's because you don't really see those kind of movies or anything anymore. synchronized swimming and stuff. So that's kind of cool. Tilda Swinton plays a couple twin sisters. They're like gossip reporters. She's just kind of in and out a little bit. Channing Tatum plays a guy named Bert Gurney. He's like a big song and dance guy. He can sing, dance, act, and his scene's pretty funny. So they show him doing like a musical number as sailors, and it starts out pretty funny with like sexual innuendo like hidden in there, and then they're all these like sailors, and there's gets into a bunch of like homoerotic stuff towards the end. That's pretty funny. Pretty decent dance sequence. Frances McDormand, of course, she makes an appearance quickly as an editor. Jonah Hill has like 2 minutes of screen time. He doesn't really do much. But let's see. That's about it for like the bigger cameos. Lots of other people that you might recognize, but mostly just like character actors. So overall, I get why this wasn't received as well for a Coen Brothers movie. You expect a lot, and this was just kind of so-so. I think I'm kind of surprised that critics didn't like it as much, because a lot of these people are based somewhat on real actors and real Hollywood figures. So there was like a guy named Eddie Mannix. I think it was somewhat similar to Josh Brolin's character, and if you just read the trivia, it's kind of interesting. So like certain people like Alden Emmerich's guy and George Clooney's people, they're all kind of conglomerations of real actors. So that's kind of cool. But like I said, I think one of the best performances and one of the most interesting things is that appearance of Alden Emmerich, Ehrenreich. And he was also just cast not too long ago as the new younger Han Solo for that spin-off movie from the Star Wars series. So that'll be really interesting. I think that's a really good choice and really interesting now after seeing this. It'll be really interesting to see what he does. He is kind of like magnetic on the screen, and the way he plays his character is just really funny, and it works really well. So that's kind of cool to see. There are funny parts here and there, but overall, I just wasn't like completely enthralled or engaged the whole time. It was decent, but with the filmography and the list of amazing movies that the Coens have done, I would definitely go back and watch other movies of theirs before this. It very much feels like Barton Fink, so that dealt with the studio system as well, and I don't think it's the same time period. I think Barton Fink was set a little bit earlier, more like the 30s. But it kind of felt like there's also some Big Lebowski thrown in there with like the mysterious kidnapping and stuff. That's kind of a staple with the Coens movies and their scripts. So you have a little bit of that thrown in there. And then two other movies that I kind of thought of. So another more recent movie was Inherent Vice. That was set in the 70s. But again, actually it has some of like the same actors. Josh Brolin is in both of those. And just kind of had that feel with the mystery and the kidnapping type thing. And then also another big movie that dealt with the studio system is the movie The Player with Tim Robbins. That's a really good movie. I definitely, I'd recommend The Player before this if you're interested in seeing a movie that deals with behind the scenes Hollywood and the studios, how it all works and how people kind of can be slimy and sneaky. And I think The Player is a much better film overall than this. So I think that'll be it. I'm giving this a 3 out of 5. Definitely not a bad movie. It's worth a watch. But like all those things I kind of said with the Coen Brothers, all their other movies are just so good. This is, just doesn't meet up to the kind of work that they usually do. And a decent, okay movie if maybe if it comes on like Netflix or something. This one I just rented. But I think that'll be it. So yeah, a 3 out of 5.